knew that the only way we could do this was go 100%. So we knew we had to put together a business.
Picture this. You've spent weeks, maybe months, building out a business plan. Like, actually building it. Price of aprons, brand of toilet paper, every single detail. You hand it to your professor, who's supposed to be an expert in this stuff, and you're quietly convinced. This is it. This is the one. He hands it back. B-. Some versions of this story say it was a C, others say it was the lowest grade in the entire class. The feedback basically amounted to, your idea is flawed, a restaurant built around one item will never survive. Cool. So Graves takes that same plan to the banks. And one by one, more than a dozen of them, they laugh him out of the room. Now here's the thing. That flawed idea, it became Raising Cane's, a $22 billion empire. And Todd Graves is now the richest restaurateur in America, all from a B- business plan that nobody believed in. Todd Graves grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And honestly, he wasn't trying to revolutionize fast food, or disrupt an industry or any of that stuff. He just had one simple, almost stubborn idea. What if a restaurant did one thing and did it better than anyone else on the planet? He got his first real taste of this working at a small chain called Guthrie's in college, watching how a focused menu actually worked in practice, and something just clicked. While every fast food giant was in this constant arms race, more items, more combos, more limited time offers, Graves was going the opposite direction. His concept was almost rebellious in how simple it was. Premium chicken tenderloins, crinkle-cut fries, coleslaw, Texas toast, a dipping sauce. That's it. No burgers, no wraps, nothing seasonal, nothing to distract you. He called the chicken, the filet mignon of the chicken. And honestly, that's not a bad pitch. This wasn't just some passing thought either. Graves had been wired this way since he was a kid. Lemonade stands, lawn mowing business, the whole thing. He had this belief that if you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being special to no one. He wanted to be special, so Graves teams up with his best friend, Craig Silvey. They'd known each other since 6th grade. Silvey was taking a business plan course at LSU, and they figured, now's the time, let's put this on paper. They mapped out everything, down to the last detail. They called it Folly's Fingers, turned it in feeling pretty good about it, B-. In a separate class, Graves himself submitted the same concept, and got the lowest grade in the room. But okay, fine, professors are theorists. Let's go talk to the people who actually deal with money. So they took the plan to every bank in Baton Rouge, and if the academic rejection stung, the banks were a whole other level. Some of them didn't just say no, they laughed. All they saw were two college kids with no business experience, pushing an idea that broke every rule in the book. You can't just sell chicken fingers. Again, and again, more than a dozen times. At some point, most people would have taken the hint. When every single expert, your professors, the banks, anyone with credentials, is telling you the same thing, the logical move is to walk away. Todd Graves was not feeling logical. He made a decision. If no one would fund his dream, he'd fund it himself. And this part matters. He refused to take outside investors. No one was going to water down his vision or pressure him to compromise. He'd rather grind it out on his own terms. And grind is not a metaphor here. To raise the money, Graves took on two of the most physically brutal jobs you can find in North America. First, he became a boilermaker, working 9-0-hour weeks in the scorching heat of California oil refineries. Then he headed to Alaska. Commercial sockeye salmon fishing. 2-0-hour days. Treacherous seas. Genuine mortal danger. This wasn't some adventure trip, this was a calculated bet on himself, in the most literal sense possible, and then, a stroke of luck that you almost can't make up. Graves won a $10,000 cash jackpot from a salmon derby. He came back to Louisiana with a hard-earned nest egg, ready to prove everyone wrong. With his own cash, Graves was finally able to land a small SBA loan, a government program for exactly these kinds of long shots. It wasn't much, but it was enough to get started. He found a beat-up former bike shop near the north gates of the LSU campus, a spot everyone else had passed on. It was a wreck. But it was his wreck. He and Silvey didn't hire a construction crew. They were the construction crew, hanging drywall, painting walls, building structures with their own hands. Friends who believed in the idea came and helped out, running on passion and cheap beer. At some point during the renovation, they uncovered an old brick mural from a previous tenant. That became the signature red and white brick look you see in every Raising Cane's today. He named the restaurant after his yellow Labrador, Raising Cane, his constant companion through all of it. On August 28, 1996, with the paint still drying, the first Raising Cane's opened. 5 items on the menu. The experts had said failure. The customers said something else entirely. From day one, it was a hit. Right next to LSU, it got absolutely swarmed. Students, families, sports teams. The drive-through line wrapped around the block constantly. People didn't care that the menu was tiny. They loved that it was tiny. They loved that Raising Cane's did one thing and made it perfect every single time. The chicken. The sauce. The simplicity of it. They started calling themselves Caniacs. Unsolicited. That's when you know something's real. Growth was slow and intentional at first. Then 2005 hit Hurricane Katrina, wiped out 21 of his 28 locations. And instead of folding, Graves rebuilt every single one. That experience became part of the company's DNA. After that, the growth went nuclear. He tried franchising briefly, then bought most of them back. He couldn't stand not having control over the experience. That obsession with quality is exactly what got him here. Today, 900 plus locations nationwide. $22 billion valuation. America's richest restaurateur. From a B- business plan that a dozen banks laughed at. Look, if you're the kind of person who finds stories like this genuinely interesting, you'll probably like what we've got coming on this channel. We dig into the real stories behind the names and brands you think you know. Subscribe if that sounds like your thing. And drop a comment. Have you ever had an idea that people told you was too simple? Because honestly, I'd love to hear it. Here's what I keep coming back to with this story. It wasn't that the experts were dumb. The logic wasn't crazy. A single item menu is risky. The banks weren't wrong to be cautious. But Graves had something none of them had. He'd actually worked in that environment. He knew what customers responded to. He knew the gap in the market that nobody was filling. He had one philosophy he never strayed from: do one thing, and do it better than anybody else. He never got distracted by what competitors were doing. He never chased trends. He just kept his head down and kept the standard high, and that's the thing about conviction. It doesn't come from a grade or a loan approval. It comes from knowing something, deep down, that other people can't see yet. The next time someone tells you your idea is too simple, or too niche, or just won't work, remember the guy who went to fish in Alaskan waters in treacherous conditions to fund a chicken finger restaurant that everyone said was a bad idea. One perfect chicken finger at a time.